What's up guys, Reagan here. Today in a little bit I have a package coming in from eBay for a Lego set, but before I can go grab that and review it, I'm here at the mall and I have to grab a set from the Lego store. Alright, I'm back in the truck with my item from Lego, and now I'm gonna go pick up my package. Alright, I just picked up my package, so I'm gonna head back and we'll open this bad boy up. Alright, so enough secrecy. What did I get at the Lego store? Well, just recently on August 1st, Lego released this set, the 75433 Jango Fett Starship, for $70. And the consensus on this is that it's pretty overpriced and we should wait for sale and everything, and I know I broke the rule, the boycott rule, by buying this. However, once I learned that this set was coming out, I had to get it and compare it to another set, which is what's in the package, which I'm gonna go grab. Here is that package, and I kind of don't trust this box. I'm really not sure how high quality it is, but let's just crack into it and see. Hopefully it's pretty good. Oh boy, no bubble wrap or anything. There we go. There is the set. The 2021 set 75312 Boba Fett Starship. The box was not in the greatest condition, which is unfortunate. But yeah, when I found out that these two sets were coming out and this one was going to be very similar to this one, I knew I had to compare these. So I got this one. Originally retailed for $50, which is right around $60 in today's money. And I got it for like $50, so it kind of balanced out to what I usually used to cost, but not really. And then of course I paid full price for this, which I know, again, breaking the rule, but is what it is. I want to go ahead and get these compared, so let's start with our first category. Now, cutting into the 2021 set, it looks like it's going to be on this side with the thumb tabs. Go ahead and slice that open. Open, and we're going to be having, let's see, this looks like 4 numbered bags total, and then a decent sized sticker sheet, and then instruction manuals with the actual box art on the set. Remember when Lego used to just take the box art from the set and put it on the instruction manuals? Yeah, I know, we're all old, but whatever. So 4 bags for the Boba Fett version from 2021. We will crack open into the Jango Fett version from 2025 right now. And here, Jango Fett version, we have, looks like 6. Oh no, I cut into one of the bags. That's not good. Oh well, I'll figure out where it goes. Looks like 6 numbered bags for the Jango Fett model. Smaller sticker sheet. Thankfully, this is the Jango Fett, this is the Boba Fett. And then an instruction manual, which it looks to be about the same size. Yep, same size instruction manual, just no box art. It looks like a terrible CGI render on the front. But yeah, 6 numbered bags as opposed to 4 numbered bags. Now there is a difference of a little over 100 pieces. If you can tell, this one has 593 pieces, and this one has 707 pieces. So yeah, there's a difference there, but I didn't know it would manifest in 2 more numbered bags. Well, I'm gonna get these built, and then we will move on to our next category of comparison. See you then. Alright guys, I have these builds finished and ready to compare to one another. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first comparison category, and that's going to be our minifigures. Alright, taking a look at the minifigures for 2021, we have a Mandalorian Season 2 Boba Fett, and this minifigure is good for the most part. It's got some really nice arm print detailing, a lot of good torso and leg printing. And they even created a new aged Boba Fett face with scarring and, damage from being inside the Sarlacc pit. But where this figure struggles is that the helmet and the jetpack are in sand green, even though it's very obvious that, much like the torso print, should be dark green. This was just laziness on LEGO's part. They refused to mold a new piece, and yeah, the figure kind of looks weird as a result. Speaking of weird looking figures, the older style Mandalorian, while again, nice arm printing and, torso and leg printing, the older style helmet does not look that good. They've narrowed it up, and they've actually put it on the right line nowadays, so this looks really old and outdated, and we don't even get a Din Djarin head print. We just have a black head. So yeah, not really great for the 2021 figures there. But on the 2025 side, we have a really good Jango Fett figure. The only thing I don't like about him is the sand blue. That's the wrong color. His undersuit in the movie is more of a bluish, purplish color. This light sand blue is highly inaccurate. But other than that, I think it's a really good figure. Good printing all throughout, especially on the helmet. Much better than that Mandalorian figure. And you have the new rangefinder. It looks amazing. You get his jetpack and his dual pistols. And then you do get a double-sided head print underneath, and you get a hairpiece. So yeah, a lot of different ways of displaying Jango here. And he just looks, besides the sand blue, he looks great all around. The only really bad figure I'd say from 2025 is the young Boba. There's a litany of issues here, but I think the big ones are both his colors are off. Yes, the sand blue is supposed to match Jango, but it's wrong there, and it looks especially wrong here. And his light blue is way too faded and like a baby blue. His belt is brown, even though it shouldn't be brown, and then he has a terrible hairpiece. It looks literally nothing like the young Boba hairpiece. I don't know why we went in this direction, but yeah, it made for a pretty poor figure. And then the best figure between both of the sets by far is Lama Su, a brand new exclusive minifigure to the 2025 set. Didn't mean to do that. He has a brand new fantastic little head mold. Fantastic. It looks really good. Got a lot of good shaping and printing in there. And then his torso print and cloak print look very good. A little faded on the cloak. I really wish, we put a second layer on it and it would look even better. But it doesn't look terrible. And all in all, the figure is amazing. Yeah, so a really nice draw to the figure selection. I think if it wasn't obvious enough, 2025 gets the cake. Not only does it have 3 figures, but 2 of them, besides Boba, are actually really good. And, of value and highly sought after. Neither of these figures are really that good anymore. They've kind of been outdated by modern day counterparts. And yeah, I just think if you're gonna choose one set for the figures, it's gotta be the 2025 set. All right, and the next category of comparison is going to be the cart for each set. Both sets get these little maintenance carts that double as display stands for their respective builds. I like them both. I think they both have a lot of value. But if I had to choose one cart, I think I'm going to go with the 2025 one. I think I like the shaping and the colors a little bit better. And I think the ladder looks a little derpy and stupid on the 2021 model. This one just looks a little bit better. As for functionalities between them, on the 25 model, you can just plop, this arm's forward, just plop Lama Su down right there. And then in the 2021 model, you can just plop Mando down. There we go, right there. As for functionality, this one gets a little storage crate for your different stud shooters. And then, I forgot to grab it, but there's a carbonite block piece that comes with the 2021 set, and you can store it on this cart underneath the ladder. So that's pretty nice. And then, of course, you can get them to adjust and display their separate slave ones, which is pretty nice. All in all, I like them both. I think they both work, but I think if I had to choose one, I'm going to go with the 2025 model. All right, now I have the 2 actual slave ones next to each other. The next category is going to be the design/displayability category. And while these sets do look very similar, they do have some visual differences. And I think those visual differences kind of balance each other out. And I'm going to be upfront here. I think it's a wash. I think both these are equally displayable. I Generally think I prefer Jango's color scheme more, and I love the different color blocking done to achieve that. The sand green and the yellow, and sand green here. It looks fantastic, as opposed to just gray and some green and red on the old one. However, on this one you can see that it's just one piece and a lot smoother shaping, which is a side effect, I understand, but I think it makes it balance out. If you like the colors better, you just have to take the different shapes, even though there's just one shape on this one. Another point of contention is the guns. They definitely look better on the 2021 model and are displayable in different positions. Meanwhile, the 2021 guns are the stud shooters, and while they don't look terrible, these definitely look better, and these don't move at all. For similar things, I think a big thing that's different is the nose. This one has a much thinner nose section, which I think gives it a better side profile. I think I like that line better, but I don't like the front-on view of it as much. I think it looks a little too skinny and awkward. On this one, they have it recessed a little, and they have a little line here, which I think makes the front-on view look a little bit better, but I think the side view doesn't look quite as good. Another huge thing on the old one were these gaps everybody mentions. They're huge gaps right there. As a result of the new design, nowhere near as big gaps. The old one has the older dark brown trans clear cockpit piece. This one has the new bluish black one. I think that looks better. The old one, I like the shoulders more because they kind of gradually come out, and it's a natural shape. I really like how they did those shoulders on the old one. And then on this one, to add this yellow stripe, it kind of juts out there. Even has a weird front-on view with some gaps. So I think they did it better on the original. And then just in general, I think a lot of these differences kind of just act to balance each other out. I don't think one looks particularly better. I feel like if either one had done just a couple things better in their own right, it would be an easy alright. I think if this one had better guns and better shoulders, it would be the better one. If this one had a way to get rid of the gap, I think it would have been the better one. So yeah, for the display category, a draw. 1 point to either set. Where the display category was pretty much a wash, I think the play category is a pretty easy victory. For some quick one-to-one comparisons that I think look exactly the same, or work exactly the same, I think the playability with movable guns here, and then you have 2 stud shooters up here, as opposed to no movable guns but 4 stud shooters. I think that balances out. And then both of these have the dropping wings. Mine, on neither of these, maybe I built them too tight, but they don't work too well. This one just works in unison. You can see both wings working there. This one is each wing for itself, which I don't know how that would affect playability any differently. It's just something I thought of. And as for the last similarity, they both have this carrying handle. You can swoosh it around, drop that down, and then you can do it on this Jango Fett. So both have the same carrying handle, so I think that's pretty even. But if we want to get into differences for placing our pilot on the 2021 variant, you had some pretty decent space in there, but you can only fit one minifigure. You can only fit Boba Fett, and then you have to flip the rangefinder down, and that's how you get Boba Fett in the cockpit. On the 2025 variant, and somehow it's very impressive, you can put Boba Fett down in the bottom, press him down, and then you can put Jango Fett with his jetpack on and rangefinder up. You can have him in there. Being able to have both figures in the cockpit, you don't have to take the jetpack off, and you don't have to adjust the rangefinder. I think that's fantastic. That's a huge boon for play. The fact that you can get both characters that are in this tiny little model, that's awesome. And then as for compartment features, at the front you can, of course, in the Boba Fett, you can place your carbonite brick, and that's cool. That's a small version of a feature on other Slave ones, but I think infinitely more iconic is the feature on this set. You can see those little headpieces down there. Those are your seismic charges, and all you have to do is you click this, and it drops your seismic charges. And I think that's a lot cooler and a lot more iconic and a lot more memorable of a play feature than the carbonite brick. I mean, it's a good feature, but I think if you had to give a kid a choice, I think he would much prefer the seismic charge feature. And then as for playability with the little carts, I already showed you the different features, but they do kind of even out, as you can just place your slave one on one, and then grabbing your other one, just prop it up. Oh, didn't mean to do that. And click it in there. And there you go. That's pretty even keel of a feature, but I feel like the ladder is so much more unstable. That just collapsed on me. If I didn't have a hand there, that would have been kind of catastrophic, but I'm glad I did. And the ladder kind of wobbles. This one does not do that as bad. There, it clicked into place. This one is a lot more playable and more trustable, I feel, than the ladder. So while a lot of these features are the same, I think it's pretty obvious that the 2025 set takes the dub for having overall just some better play, especially for the cockpit feature, being able to put both figures in there and not have to make any adjustments to the figures. And then the seismic charge feature is pretty iconic and I think a lot cooler than the carbonite brick feature. All right, now we come to the value comparison segment for this video. And again, that set came out in 2021 for $50, which is right around $60 in today's dollars. And then this is on shelves currently for $70. I truly believe, or personally believe at least, that both of these sets are pretty overpriced a piece. The same footprint, I'd say they're probably, I don't know, $30 or $40 max is really what I would say. But without getting into the minutia of overpriced or good or bad value, I feel like the comparison of value comes down to one simple thing. What you're getting from, you know, the carts back there to the actual builds to the figures is the same footprint and one-to-one minus the Llama Sue figure. And it really boils down to, do you think Llama Sue is worth $10? Again, 60 without Llama Sue, 70 with Llama Sue, so $10 basically. And I'm personally gonna say, no, this is a fantastic figure. I wanna see more like him. I love his exclusive mold. I think there's a lot of uses for him. He's great, he's a fantastic figure. I do not believe that that makes this set worth $10 more than this one. That's really all it boils down to in value comparison. I think they're both overpriced, but I think the more overpriced one is the one that has one extra figure for $10 more. So yeah, the 2021 model is taking its first uncontested dub in this video. And so now we will tally up the points and come to my conclusion. All right, wrapping all of that up, taking a look at everything these sets have to offer, the final tally comes down to 4-2. And that's honestly not what I was expecting going into this comparison. When I bought that set and I bought that set to compare to one another, I thought it would be a lot closer. And I think I was going in thinking that because this one was so overpriced. And like I covered that in the last segment, a lot easier to determine. This one is more overpriced than this one. But taking a step back and looking at everything these sets have to offer, aside from the display category, which is, you know, again, pretty even keel between the sets, I feel like if one had done just a thing right in either direction, it would be a clear winner. But, you know, they're right up against one another in terms of display quality. But other than that category, I feel like the 2025 model is better. And, you know, that's kind of what you'd want from a set 4 years removed. You'd think you want some advanced building techniques and play features and minifigures, and besides the young Boba figure, that's what you got. You got a better cart with your main pilot, you got better helmet printing, and you got a hairpiece for a second face. And then even if he's not worth $10, you did get a new and exclusive Llama Sue minifigure, and that does add, that does make the set have a little bit more quality than the old one, especially one with two derpy looking figures that really aren't collectible now, especially since this Boba Fett has been in like 2 or 3 sets at this point and still sucks, honestly. And this Mandalorian, which has been outdated by the newer style of helmet print. So yeah, I think Jango's has a lot more to offer, and in the play category, I think kids will enjoy the Jango Fett Slave 1 more because it has the same features as the old one minus the carbonite brick, but you get more space in the cockpit for your minifigures, and it's not a hassle to get them in. It's really easy, and you don't have to move the better looking rangefinder. And then you also get the fantastic seismic charge pieces. I think that's awesome. There's just so much to unpack there, and it's a smaller sticker sheet on this set. Less stickers on this set, and I think that's a huge boon. On the front little spine here, you have 2 stickers that wrap around, and that gray really doesn't match there. On this one, you have 1 sticker that wraps around. The white doesn't match as well, but it's not quite as noticeable. And again, it's just one of those pieces. The rest is the color blocking, which again, I think is really good on this set. So yeah, all in all, just a pretty vast improvement in the 2025 direction. So yeah, that's really all I have to say, is that this one wins and this one loses. And I'm honestly kind of glad I got these both these sets to compare to one another and come to that conclusion. Thank you guys for watching. I was super excited to make this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe so I can catch you all in the next one.